And before we close up the presentation today, I wanted to make sure that we really talk about supplemental oxygen and the danger that it can cause for someone with weakened breathing muscles. And when I say supplemental oxygen, I am referring to oxygen delivered through a nasal cannula, and that individual is not receiving any form of breathing support, no bilevel mechanical ventilation. So when we have weak breathing muscles, if we're increasing oxygen beyond what that individual can get just from breathing room air, generally it means that we cannot effectively exhale the waste product, carbon dioxide of all that additional air quickly enough. And so what that means is we are retaining some of that. And we have in our brain stem something known as the respiratory center, and it's what tells us to breathe when we stop breathing. But when we are getting supplemental oxygen, our brain may get the false impression that we have enough air to breathe, and so we may experience a decline or a depression of our respiratory drive or a slowing of that breathing. And it can reach the point where the individual completely stops breathing, and without breathing on their own, CO2, or without any other mechanism in place to breathe for them, that CO2 could build to dangerous levels, hypercapnia, that in worst case scenarios can result in death or CO2 narcosis. So at Breathe with MD, we developed a medical self-advocacy tool in our clinical considerations form, and it's available from our website by choosing the resources link and then clinical considerations form. But this is just a concise form that allows you to download it, print it off, fill out your name, and it just tells a clinician who may not be aware that something that they provide to someone without a neuromuscular disease could actually be harmful to someone with a neuromuscular disease, such as supplemental oxygen. And it just does a very simple job of giving a high level overview of respiratory involvement and the things to be aware of. And often the blanks at the bottom of the form are used to list the NMD care team contact information. So there are safe ways to administer supplemental oxygen. You want them to use this with bi-level ventilation enabled with appropriate settings. And by that, I mean we don't want to have excess leak, and preferably we want to know that those settings did not allow the individual to retain CO2 before they got supplemental oxygen. Providing just enough oxygen to reach an oxygen saturation of no higher than 95%. That's important. We hear from individuals that at the hospital they wanted to turn it all the way up to a degree that would get them at 100%, and that's where they began to retain CO2. You can ask them to check the CO2 level frequently to ensure that the appropriate amount of oxygen is being provided. And of course, you can visit our website, and we have an oxygen caution page that includes lots of articles that you can share in that effort of self-advocacy to explain why something that could be helpful for someone without a neuromuscular disease can be very harmful to someone with a neuromuscular disease if not administered in a safe manner. Another option that we have that helps with the medical self-advocacy efforts with regard to supplemental oxygen is our respiratory care information card. And on the back side of that card is a QR code that you can scan that will take you to that oxygen caution page. Depending on where you reside in the world, there are several countries, which I've listed here on the bottom right of the slide, where you can order this card to be mailed to you for free. And again, it just acts as really a reminder of what the normal level of oxygen saturation and carbon dioxide are and what the risk is specific to those with neuromuscular disease.